Greetings, Game Master Player here with another Dungeon Master car vlog. This one's a little bit out of order, I apologize. I'm on my way to Indie PopCon right now, and I've found some extra time on my hands. So let's get everybody up to speed here. So, the last game session that the players have played in, they found the tower where one of the player characters' parents was actually abducted from. And there's been some ramifications because their guild that they were part of, which they thought has only been around for I forgot how many years and generations and stuff. The tower itself has an emblem of the guild on the floor in the center, which technically predates the creation of the guild. So I threw that loop in there, and spoilers, of course. So if my players, please don't watch. Spoilers on this one is the fact that what I've done is the Adventurers Guild, is what they call it, is actually a holdover from the original kingdom. Now, see, it wasn't called the Adventurers Guild there. It's very similar to what Pathfinder's like, where they have this organization that basically, searches for relics and things like that, and ancient things. And the Adventurers Guild is a direct descendant of that. Now, the issue was that this guild originally wasn't a very nice guild. It was a very selfish guild, a very selfish organization to get relics for the kingdom and such like that. Well, again, the spoiler stuff. What has happened is that this organization was, under the command of the king directly to get things, of course, for the kingdom. Well, what happened is that one of these relics actually seduced the king, and the king became a lich. And the king overpowered the remnants of the organization and created his own cult following for it, where the villain comes into play now is not a necromancer, but a blood mage. Now, I'm throwing everybody for a loop on my player side because blood magic is something that is not officially in the regular player's handbook and stuff like that. It's an official class from, if I'm not mistaken, from the from the Ravenloft Adventure Path, I think, or maybe from Unearthed Arcana, one of the two. I'm not sure which. But so we've got this new class, and I'm really, really, really getting them into thinking that it's some necromancer or something else like that, and it's great because it's complete red herring, obviously. Red herring, red blood. I'm sorry. Anyway, but really, so the advantages here is that not the advantage for me is that nobody knows what this mage can do, obviously, because they're going to think he's a necromancer and he can do necromantic stuff, or they think he's an illusionist, he can do illusionist stuff. Well, in reality, he's a blood mage, and he'll be able to do blood magic, which is something a little bit different. So he happens to be enamored, I think that's the right word I want to use, enamored with constructs and automatons, so like animated dead, undead, golems, things like that. So, and the early stuff that he can do is, flesh golem, zombies, skeletons. He's not high enough level to really make anything advanced. So, like a stone golem or an iron golem or anything like that. So, he's doing the easy stuff. But he's a blood mage, and that's going to throw him for a loop. Also, as I've been going through everything, I've also decided to see what's going to happen is that the guild is actually a spin-off of the original Pathfinder. Well, I don't want to call them Pathfinders, but it's like a magic guild. So, but it was for selfish purposes at first, also to continue where they left off. But then they found that one of the leaders made it a moral obligation to actually, instead of finding stuff for, because basically they were finding stuff for themselves, kind of a thing, and it turned into, let's find stuff for our people, because we don't have a king, and it turned into hatred for the king for not coming to rescue them. And there's a lot of things that it's so basically the kingdom was decently selfish, the nobles here were decently selfish, and they became good natured out of hatred, of all things, hatred. And more of a, we can show you, we can do this on our own, we can do this ourselves, we can do this without you mentality. And it created a better sense of community, and it raised the alignment in general up, and it turned into a moral obligation to help the people, and then it turned into a moral obligation to have this beacon of hope, the Adventurers Guild, that also, again, raised the bar a little bit on the alignment side and stuff like that. So really, it's the guild has foundations in a not so savory group of individuals, which weren't really heroes at all. My players don't know this. They think the original founders of the guild were fantastic heroes and awesome people, and no, they were a bunch of dicks that just wanted this, items and gear and relics for themselves. Nice, huh? But I think that's a good angle, because no one's really going to guess it, for one, and it adds a dynamic to the story, because a lot of the treasures that they're going to find are going to be ones that have been squirreled away, not blatantly open, and they're going to eventually question why, and then the pieces will come together. So otherwise, why am I going to even have decent relics for the players to find? Because they should have been found by now, right? No. See, what happens is that people have been putting them back, or moving stuff around, or putting them in different places and hiding them and such, because, again, selfish. So, and only recently have they started to try to, refine some of this stuff. So, that's one of those things. I thought it would be kind of a unique idea. Excuse me. And so I've got that going, which is pretty good. So, in my mind, I think it's going to be pretty good. So, we're doing that. And then, so, this tower that they found that has a special symbol, the reason it was erected there is by the history books, it was erected there as a outpost, command center, whatever you want to call it, against orc incursions and goblin incursions, when in all reality, there's actually a ancient civilization's chamber of some kind, or complex, I'm not sure how big I want to make it yet, underneath it. This tower's marking and protecting. It's, again, selfish reasons, not anything else. So, and the players were told that this outpost there was a massacre, and what happened is that they didn't have the manpower to pick it back up. Which is true, that is actually true, but that happened a very long time ago. And the last group of individuals there, including this one player character's parents, they were adventurers, again, trying to unlock the secrets of the tower. So the players right now are in the process of securing the tower, so they can use it as a launching point to go fight goblins and go through the goblin hordes and such like that. And now a twist on the goblin hordes is that I'm going to have that this blood mage has taken over a couple of the largest goblin tribes with his powerful magic, and the chieftains that got away want to stop him, because that's their tribe, that's their people, and so it's going to be a side quest to help the goblins gain access back to their people, or just slaughter them all and let the gods figure it out, kind of a situation. I'm hoping the players take the moral high ground. Obviously, I hope they do. I don't know if they're going to. I just hope they do. But if they can take the moral high ground and they can get other people involved, then the opportunity for them to actually excel and succeed, doing the moral thing is great. And that's kind of the thing I want to go with. I want them to try to take that moral high ground, which will help later on when they have to fight the dragon. So, but anyway, it's one of those things I want to keep everyone up to date on what's going on. The players actually had a couple of adventures where there was a pirate ship, and I'm not sure if this actually came through one time, my last vlog or not. It's been a while. My last vlog was corrupted a little bit by bad GPS sound bites and stuff like that, and I posted it up anyway. I apologize if that inconveniences people, but I did it anyway. So, but really, right now the thing is that I'm trying to get the players on this track here. So, and they're like, we're always one step behind this necromancer. Well, what's happening is this necromancer, or this blood mage, is using his resources the best he can, aka he's buying people off. So he gets people to either do what he wants through intimidation, manipulation, or outright purchasing. So he tried to get a pirate group to deliver this skull that was going to basically do this necrotic damage and kill everybody in the fishing village or the fishing town. And it's really a red herring, but it was a relic, and it was a relic that was very powerful in a little way, but in all honesty, it was actually quite weak, because people can run away from this necrotic plague, like zone that would spread out, and it would continue to grow as long as there was life for it to grow on. Well, eventually, during the winter, when the freeze hits, a lot of things are going to die, and then it would creep. It would creep real slow, like after the fact, until spring hit again. So, it's one of those that it was gonna do a lot of damage, and it was gonna basically keep people busy for a long time. And everyone thinks that he's got this ability to make this magic, and he doesn't. This is one of the relics that he found, and he realized the purpose, and found out that basically he can't really use it very well. It does damage to him and everybody else. It doesn't discriminate. So he might as well use it as a tool. And the players actually found a way to defeat it, which is great. And then there was a holdout, because where did this happen? And they found this smuggler's den, which happened to be a hideout underneath a house, which was owned by an adventurer, Initiate, which was a player that only played for one game. It was a pickup thing. It wasn't a big deal. But they got it because the previous people were killed by bandits, aka pirates. Because again, a pirate group wanted to come back and reclaim this smuggling port for themselves and killed everybody inside. And then the adventurer again came through, bought the house up for himself and his family. Excuse me. And so his goal was to, again, it's a nice house and everything else like that, so that's why he had it. It was a thing of status for him because he was a wizard and he wants to have this nice house and et cetera, et cetera. Well, the Blood Mage found out about this, abducted this character's daughter or child and wife, and used them as pawns, aka hostage, as pawns to get him to try to betray and do things. Well, until people got involved, he was cooperative, because the character was still predominantly good, and he was trying to save his family. So without tipping his hand to help anyone out. But what happened the game he was in, he ended up killing himself. And the reason why he did it, story-wise, is because if he would have been found helping the players stop the Blood Mages, because of the flesh golem they had to fight, it was a imperfect flesh golem, so which means it had limitations. Like, they're going to find another one that's going to be closer to good, or closer to perfect, and then they're going to find a perfect one. So there's going to be 3 flesh golems. So, but really, what's happened is that he killed himself to buy time for his family, and because he had no other way. If he was found assisting the adventurers, then he would have been, that would have been used against him, and his family would have been tortured or killed. Or the other aspect, if he fought against the players, which were adventurers, a guild that he swore fealty to, basically. If he tried to do something like that, then he's in a bad position himself, and he's good, so he can't do that. So basically, he sacrificed himself to save his family. It was selfless, and it didn't really accomplish much as far as, being ultra heroic. It just prevented his family from being tortured to death. So, which, really is a win-win, but his family's still in danger. And he didn't get a chance to leave a message or anything else like that for the players. So, working with that one. So there we go. We got the players that now they've got hostages that they have to save. That's cool. They've got this new secret they have to learn about. This previous organization and its original roots, that kind of stuff, which that's cool. They've got some relics that they're going to find, or not really some relics, but somewhat powerful magical items. They're going to find some decent magical items, and we'll see how that pans out. So they're really, it's really looking forward for them. It's really moving up. Very, very happy about that. I can only hope that the players actually do some good work.
Watch out!
That.
Roadworks reported awesome. On the road ahead.
So we'll see. But anyway, next time I run, there might be a few sessions, and I'll reveal more secrets as I bring them open, and as I start piecing more of it together, I should start having items and maybe some story elements, maybe a map or two. I'm gonna start putting them in the description, so that way everybody can get their hands on them if they need them. So, because again, it's something that I can share. I haven't decided whether I'm going to publish this, because again, I'm starting to piece it together. I might try to publish it. I'll probably end up altering it to publish it D&D stuff. So, you know, the D&D Guild, I think it's what it's called, or something like that. So I can publish it online and maybe, you know, make a few bucks off of it or something. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll give it away for free. Again, I don't know. You guys are kind of going through the alpha with me right now. So it's not even in beta, it's still in alpha. I work in IT, so, you know, I use weird, you know, terms like alpha and beta and, you know, version 1 point whatever, you know, so that's, you know, it's not a revision, it's a version. So that's what I'm used to. So anyway, thank you everyone for watching my video. And again, if you're any of my players, you're just spoiling it for yourself. You really are. You're ruining a good story and good reveals and things like that. So hopefully none of my players are watching. Hopefully the people that aren't players are watching, so they can get an idea. And if they haven't watched it before, and there's people that have thought about playing some of my games, this would be great insight as to what they can do or what they can expect. As I like to throw loops, and I like to, well, not really throw loops, I like to have intricate story elements that have ramifications and, you know, aren't completely cut and dry, but aren't completely transparent either, or not transparent, but completely, you know, flipped, where, oh, the good guys, the bad guys, and they have to kill you now, or, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't want it to go that far, but I want to have it to where players need to understand the story to get all of it, instead of just, you know, I play it, it unfolds, I play it, it unfolds. They need to be involved, they need to ask questions, they need to do things. And the more invested a person gets in a game like that, the better the game gets for them and for everybody else, because now they have an investment. They want to play, they want to explore, they want to reveal, they want to find out. And that's an important piece. That's, you know, it's, everyone sure wants to fight monsters and get treasure and level up the characters and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. But what makes a great role-playing game and role-playing game sessions are when the players are directly involved and invested into the game. So, because when they're invested in the game, they now have more, it's like gambling, they have more at risk, more to lose, more to gain, but more to lose. And they pay more attention. They spend more time working with you as a game master, a dungeon master, whatever you want to call it. But, like, you know, they work with me, I work with them. I asked them, you know, I had one player, I asked him a question, I said, do you like your characters or any issues? He's like, well, yeah, my rolls aren't so hot, but yeah, why? Is somebody trying to tell me? I said, no, I want to make sure everyone's happy with their characters, because if they're not, then we need to fix it. You know, we need to fix it. If somebody's not having a good time, that's going to affect everybody else, we need to fix it, right? So thank you everyone, and I will see you in the next video.